There's a kind of magic to making memories, to finding time for the little things and the big things, the new things, and the things you'll do over and over again. It's the magic of a job well done and a well-deserved day of rest, of living life to the fullest with the people you'd never want to live without. Fareway, closed on Sunday, open for life.
Breaking Benjamin. And 3 Days Grace. Live. September 23rd at Casey Center. With special guest Return to Dust. Get tickets now at HyVeeTips.com. Laser 103.3 presents Breaking Benjamin. And 3 Days Grace.
Two guys, two Chris's, one network. Iowa Everywhere. It's time for Two Guys with Chris Williams and Chris Hassel. Presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery from the Channel Seed Studios. Where? Everywhere. Live and always on demand at Iowa Everywhere.
What is up? Welcome to the program. The 10th of July. We are presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery. We are in the Channel Seed Studios. Jake Brend is stuck in Dallas.
What?
Flight got canceled last night. Trying to get home from Big 12s.
I can't imagine that he's too upset about it. I mean, it's not like...
I'm just glad that I came home early. Because I didn't want to...
He's got no family.
No.
He's got nothing else to do. He's hang out another night in Dallas.
Yeah, there's worse things. I kind of thought the same thing. He was pretty pissed off about it last night, though. He was sending me, he's very jovial human.
Yeah?
He's sending me, one-word text messages. Just really pissed off.
I'm really intrigued by the size of Jake Brend, because I don't think I've met him in person yet.
You haven't. He told me that.
And I thought he was bigger than I think that he is, because I've seen some pictures recently, and every time I see him, it's like the picture of you where you keep shrinking. He just looks like he's getting smaller and smaller. Look at this.
Tiny little boy.
Is he smaller than you?
Yeah.
Wow. See, I thought he was... I don't know. I was thinking he was like my size.
No.
Is he smaller than Bloom?
No.
Okay. So he's between Bloom and you.
Yeah.
But I see him on camera, and he's sometimes he's just like, it's almost like he's shrinking himself.
Hi, I'm Jake Brend. What's going on?
A photo surfaced out of Big 12 Media Day.
Whoa, Williams.
Williams
shrunk, next to
like,
Rocco. You're half the size of Rocco. Put him next to who was my guy? Cole. Put him next to Cole and see how small he is there.
Who?
JJ Cole. Remember?
Oh, JJ.
I wanted JJ Cole to start over Rocco.
Yeah, we thought Rocco was small. Jeez, Williams.
You guys did a great job down there, though. I appreciated the coverage.
Thank you. No, it was. I'm actually kind of ready for football now. That usually happens to me when I go to this thing. Yeah,
you get the juices going.
Yeah.
Big 12 this week. You got SEC next week. Big 10 the week after. The idiots from the ACC are going at the same time as the Big 10. They're going to get no coverage.
Foolish.
We do have a bit of breaking news this morning.
What's that?
All this talk about how there was going to be no preseason Big 12 poll. And not only is everyone doing one themselves.
There's more polls now than ever.
Brett McMurphy at On3 did his own Big 12 coaches poll.
Like one of those anonymous ones?
Yeah. So he went and I don't know if they were all head coaches. I'm guessing they were. He didn't specify in the article that I read, but it just posted this morning from On3. And guess who's in the championship game, according to this poll?
The Iowa State University.
Against
Arizona State.
Kansas State.
Wow.
It's a bookend season.
Did that even
Start in
happen?
Ireland, finish in Dallas. Yeah, it can happen. Why wouldn't it be able to happen? Anything
Well, I'm
can
just
happen.
with all these freaking tiebreakers and stuff. Like if you lost, I'm just thinking out loud.
Of course it
Well,
can
that'd
happen.
be cool. That'd be great.
Interesting to
That'd
note,
be great.
though,
That'd be great.
from the article, that no one picked Iowa State to win the conference.
But like, this is what's so stupid about all this now. What does it even mean to win the conference? Like in the regular,
win it all. Win the to win the
the championship. Okay, because
So
the
I think-
regular season, it's like I don't even know. Like,
There
it's
is no
probably
regular.
good-
You guys made that up. You acted like you were regular season champions a few years ago. It doesn't exist in the Big 12. There's no regular season
Well,
champion.
I guess my point is I can't imagine too many scenarios, and it can happen. But when it's not a tiebreaker deciding who is in that game,
There would be very few scenarios. You're right.
yeah.
So Kansas State got 6 champion votes and 2 runner-up votes for a total of 8. Iowa State 0 champion, 7 runner-ups. Nobody else got more than 2 runner-up votes.
Isn't
Iowa
that
State
kind of-
got 7.
Isn't that kind of Iowa State's thing as a program?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, look at last year.
That is what
You got
people
there, you
think
got your
of
ass
them.
kicked.
But this is the conversation I'm trying to have with Big 12 fans right now, who just keep yelling at me, accusing me of being a media honk for the Big 10 and the SEC. But eventually, you just have to win the games to change the perception. And Iowa State has lost this game a couple of times. If you talk to people there, the perception is they're a phenomenal culture program. Campbell's one of the best culture guys in college football. Everybody has respect for them and what he's done. Best coach in program history. But nobody, I don't believe, is taking them seriously to win the thing. So
This
Does
was
that seem-
telling, though. I mean,
yeah. That's what coaches love Campbell. Like that doesn't shock me.
that tells me that they think Iowa State might not be as talented as some of the other teams,
Yes,
but
exactly.
because of Campbell, they're
Absolutely.
good enough to get there.
Which that's true, right?
But it is that poll is really interesting to me, and I guess it shouldn't be surprising because of how wide open this conference is. But that 5 other teams had championship votes to win it.
Matt, will you
And
pull
Iowa
that
State
son of a
wasn't one
gun
of
up one more time for me so I can take one last look? I just want to see the.
Kansas State had the most champion votes with 6. Then it was Arizona State with 4.
I don't. what
Texas
is-
Tech with 3, TCU with 2, and Baylor with 1.
Does Kansas State deserve to have that many Maybe they don't. Maybe they. I mean, I like Avery Johnson. I like Chris Kleiman. I like their team. But that's a lot.
Yeah, but aren't they supposed to be a top 20 team
Yeah,
preseason?
no, they
They're
are.
one of the
I'm just saying-
co-favorites to win the Big 12.
I'm just saying that's like a third of the league's coaches said that they would win it. That's surprising
Yeah.
to me for a league as even. Is
Again,
what we
I think
this will
that
be.
a lot like Iowa State, that's respect for Kleiman.
Yeah,
And that
he
coaching
deserves it.
staff.
And he deserves it.
And
Those two are a lot alike, I think.
this also shows us, again, reiterates, I guess, how big this fucking game is. I mean, it is huge. This one really counts. I feel like this one counts as 2 games.
Wow.
Because not
Well-
only is it a swing in the tiebreaker with Kansas State, the standings with Kansas State, this is the jump start for the season.
Matt, I hate to do this to you on the fly. Could you pull up my interview with Dom Orange? And it's
Orange?
like Orange.
So does your
Yeah.
dad call him Dom Orange?
Dommy Orange. It's like the last question I asked him. I kind of baited him into it, and the son of a bitch just went all in on it. I love Dom Orange. Great dude. No, I appreciated his answer. He was so honest.
You asked him about the game?
Well, yeah,
in
I
Ireland?
said, like, does it feel different having 2 of your rivalry games in the first 3 weeks? Like, these are huge games. Like the Iowa and the Kansas State game, like, in the first 3 weeks. And most of the guys, it's a baked answer. No, we're treating it just like we do every other offseason, right? and he went all in on it. You want to see it? Let's see what he had to say right here.
In week one, because it is different. Like, I know you guys are going to say, oh, it's business as usual, but do you feel different? Like, you got them in Iowa 2 out of the first 3 weeks.
I'm not been separate lie. Yeah, like it's different because, like I said, we don't get a warm-up game. It's not like we're going to play whatever FCS team and, get our feet wet. Nah, it's coming out hot, and it's a rival game. So it's a different type of feeling, knowing that, like, this game matters no matter what. It's one, it's a pride thing. Two, it's an actual, legitimate seeding thing. So, everybody gonna say it's just another game. Nah, for me, we locked in. We got. I can't wait to play K-State.
Appreciated that.
I think it's also extra motivation in the offseason. Like, you got to be ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that coaches will be hard. You're not going out there and playing Youngstown State or whoever in week one. You've got
at
to
Youngstown,
be
huh?
in
Wow.
mid-season form right away. What's the deal with the players in pads? Did
I don't
every
know.
team wear pads?
First time they've ever done
Every
that.
team did that.
First time that I've ever seen that happen.
That is bizarre that they had them do that.
No, I'll bet you this is how it worked. I could see it now. Bret Yormark has his marketing staff around a table. We really need to be focused on the branding of these schools, and we need to show them more so that the college football playoff voters will recognize our uniforms more. So we need to put the young men in pads and have them walking around for their interviews.
Well, they always open up when they start in their pads because they got to do all those little TV things where they do those pump up, that they use for ESPN and all that
that's
stuff.
Probably great
Yeah.
point, Matt.
Yeah, because
Great
they're in
point.
polos later, so when they came out first.
Yeah, but I've never seen this before.
I haven't either.
Sorry, I
but
choked on my coffee.
I'm thinking out loud. Now, I did see all the teams in pads, so this wasn't just an Iowa
But
State thing.
I've never seen this before from any conference at a conference media days.
Well, they do. Are you okay?
Yeah, it went down the proverbial wrong pipe. It was a speak pipe.
He went up an octave.
Are you okay though? Do you need to mute
I am.
yourself? Okay. No, Matt's right. They do the little thingamajig where they put them in the back.
Yes, but they've never done it. They've never gone out there before like that in pads.
The Iowa State University brought them out for us to have a little special media session for the local guys, and I wonder if we just caught them at that time. I don't know, but I saw everybody in pads. It wasn't just Iowa State players walking around in pads.
This was definitely a Yormark thing.
We need to activate the brand, the uniforms. Look at that. Look at that. That photo goes hard.
Those uniforms are pretty good.
I love that
I love the
helmet.
helmets.
I love that helmet.
We didn't get that specific helmet last year, which they kept doing the different variations of the Cyclones script, but we didn't get the Cyclones on with a cardinal background.
No, look sharp. We are presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery. Here's one for you. I got a tip from Bill, who owns Game Day Men's Health in Ankeny, West Des Moines, and North Liberty. We have a listener/viewer in Alaska who he signed up for Game Day Men's Health in Anchorage, Alaska, and he put us down as a referral.
Really?
Yes.
That's great.
Literal Iowa everywhere. We're
Man,
everywhere.
I feel like you might need a little extra tea if you're living in Alaska.
Yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
the lack of sunlight up there, the cold, that's got to zap your testosterone.
How about a little vitamin
levels.
D at the same time? Like
Yeah.
you inject some of that. Anyways,
Maybe
I thought
some
that
D and some tea.
that made my day the other day when Bill sent me that. I love our audience. That's really cool. All right, this quote from Matt Campbell that went viral, and it. Well, we're gonna give it some perspective. Here's what Matt Campbell had to say that got everybody fired. Matt, no video for this. Okay, he said, "Our top 20 guys took a pay cut to come to Iowa State."
That was
Which
the
is-
quote. So Pete Thamel
Yeah,
posted that quote, just that one sentence.
yeah.
Iowa State coach Matt Campbell, our top 25 guys took a pay cut to come back to Iowa State. He posted that without any other context, and it blew up because how does that read to?
It means we're
fans?
paying them less.
Yeah, it means what? They're getting less money this year at Iowa State than last year? You're telling me Rocco Becht is getting paid less this year than last, even though this is the year that everybody's being paid more than any other year because you can double dip. That is not the case. This was a quote that I'm not going to say that Thamel took it out of context, but it was misleading. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he knew that or not. Like if he knew that what Campbell really meant, or if he really thought by that quote that Iowa State players were taking a pay cut. No. Campbell is saying that their top 20 players could have left in the portal and received more money elsewhere, but they decided to stay here. Therefore, they could have made more money. They didn't take a pay cut. They could have made more money elsewhere. That's it.
Exactly.
But
and
of course,
we all knew that. But
Iowa fans took that and just ran with it because what's the narrative that Iowa fans are pushing lately? With the Pollard interview about how Iowa State's, we got to make a decision here. Are we going to be Northern Iowa or are we going to be a big-time program? Some Iowa fans are saying that Iowa State is close to going off the ledge and broke, and they don't have any money and what have you. And then I saw a quote from Campbell to CBS Sports that Iowa State isn't maxing out the rev share. And I don't think that was taken out of context. It might have just been a slip of the tongue from Campbell. Jamie Pollard has said multiple times they are maxing out the 20 point whatever million dollars that they're paying athletes.
Yeah, honestly, this might sound crazy. I don't know if Matt truly knows.
That's the first thing I thought too.
Yeah,
Matt Campbell doesn't seem like a guy who gets into the nitty gritty of what guys are making and what we can be. He's a football guy,
and he has people who
lets
handle
his staff
that for
handle
him.
it.
Yeah.
So then when he's asked about it, maybe he should just say, I don't know. I let other guys handle it.
I had a great moment that was super awkward. Your buddy Matt Berry, which I met Matt, by the way, lovely gentleman. I want to.
Yeah, it looked like you guys shared a couple beers.
Had a few cocktails.
What did he say about me?
Well, I can't tell you. I mean, I can't betray Matt's trust. I just met him. No,
a week from today, we're going to Italy.
Yeah, we were talking about that. He was hosting this really awkward Q&A with all the coaches on the stage. Which
so is that broadcast anywhere?
I think it may have been on ESPN.
Okay, I was gonna say, so why? Because why would you do it if it was just for?
Yeah, well, and that's why Matt was there. They did like 4 straight hours. Like Campbell was on his show and whatever. It was actually, I found it to be pretty good because a handful of coaches up there just kind of take the ball and run with it. But so Scott Frost, remember Scott Frost is in the Big 12 now. And he's kind of an awkward quote. If you watch, I don't think he genuinely enjoys the media thing, and he just kind of he comes off as awkward up there. Well, they're talking about rev share and NIL, and I actually thought Matt did a really good job getting all the coaches involved or whatever. Well, Frost starts going on this tangent about how basically we need a cap. It's impossible because it shouldn't be a deal where one guy has the richest donor and therefore his team's going to win. And everybody just kind of stares at Joey McGuire in Texas Tech. And he's just kind of up there and he's like, what time is it? Huh.
So he's part of this panel too, McGuire?
Yeah.
Was every coach there?
The ones that went on Tuesday.
All 8 coaches for that day were up there.
Yeah, we're all up. And it was super awkward. Super awkward. Yeah. And then
Did
our
McGuire
guy
respond to it?
Well, it wasn't like pointed at him, but everybody was kind of looking at him, right? Because that's the one thing I really did that came to me while being down there is everybody knows what Texas Tech is up to.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no secrets here. And then our guy Prime, Coach Prime, was asked about this bull junk on Wednesday and delivered this beautiful quote.
You talked a lot about Media Day last year about your relationship with Joey McGuire.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if you paid attention at all to what they've been doing in the portal, especially.
Yeah. Joey got some money. Joey, where you at, baby? Spending that money. I love it. I love it. Once upon a time, you guys was talking junk about me going in that portal. Now, when everybody go in the portal, it's okay. It's cool when they do it. But it's a problem when I do it. Ain't that a rap song? Joey, I know you out there, baby. I love you, man. I appreciate you. Can you send, a few of those dollars to us so we can get some of those players too?
Really, the theme of the week, though, is everybody knows how much Texas Tech has spent. And I even get the feeling from Texas Tech people that they are 100% boom or bust. McGuire's going to get fired or he's going to get a job in the SEC next year and double his pay is the real vibe I get from Texas Tech.
It's kind of refreshing that it's all out there in the open.
Yeah, isn't it?
And this might be the only year that's going to happen because now we're under the cap. And now everything else is going to have to go below board if it's over that $20 million for the entire athletic department, which it will be. It's going to be a shit show. I don't know that this is right. Like I kind of agree with Scott Frost. It shouldn't be about how wealthy your boosters are. I really do think that we need a hard cap on every team. And if you fuck around and you try to cheat this thing, you are in huge trouble.
Just short of the electric chair.
Yeah. It needs to be like we talk about how we don't want it to be a professional model, but this does need to be this needs to be like in the NFL when you can't go over, you can't spend over the cap. It
they
has
need
to be
do
fair.
It to save their industry. And really what this comes down to, go back, if you're interested in this at all, go and listen to my CW pod with Nate Bolton about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the end of the day, like the players have to have some sort of representation. That's the only way all this actually happens, where you can truly cap them and enforce this. Like there have to be real contracts and the players have to have some sort of an association to give them a seat at the table. Like I don't see how we get anywhere like what Scott Frost was talking about.
We can't.
Without that. That is but they will, even Yormark, and I'm guy's starting to really grow on me, Chris. But he's still up there and calling them student athletes, and I get it. They are student. I understand it. They are going to class, so it's technically not wrong. But they're still using all these buzzwords, like these NCAA amateurism buzzwords, and I wish we'd just knock it off with that.
And Mike Gundy was outspoken about that very thing when he was interviewed. It must have been yesterday, but I'm seeing.
I haven't seen this yet.
Start to make the rounds today. Matt, I just texted it to you. Sorry for the late notice on this.
I love Gundy.
I think he was interviewed by, the cowpokes on 3 people.
That son of a gun will just say anything. I love it.
Oh yeah, but he's right. He was asked about the situation that we're in right now, and Matt, thank you for pulling this up. Go ahead and play it.
College needs to instigate and to build that type of system so we don't have the same 4, 5, or 6 schools that pay the most money at the end of the season in the playoffs.
But how would that manifest in actuality? How would you do that?
Well, you got to restructure the system and you got to admit that the players are employees. And then you can build a collective bargaining. We've all talked about it.
Yep.
But you have to admit they're employees.
And you could actually have a salary cap if
you could do it all.
Yeah.
And you need that. And then you need an entry salary cap. Like you need an entry level for a high school player coming in because it's not sustainable.
And that
Couldn't
was
agree more.
That was Andy Staples and I think it's Ari Wasserman on their podcast. It might have been this morning. He's right. They need to be employees, period. Mm-hmm. That's the only way we can kind of save a semblance of a level playing field.
Anything else stand out to you? Yormark talked a lot about the playoff. That got to be a thing. And
he's doubling down on the 5+11.
His words.
And while I think that is on the surface more fair to everyone, where you really do have to earn it, we've talked about it. I don't know that that's necessarily good for the Big 12.
Well, I liked his quote on it. I don't agree with. I agree with you, by the way, and I've said this, like, for the Big 12 right now, in this very second, they'd be better off getting the 2 guaranteed bids because I think I speak for you too. We just don't believe that they will consistently get 2 bids. Correct. And get into that. I did a whole CW pod about it this week from down there because, I mean, these Big 12 fans, like some of them, like from all the schools, it's not Iowa State people, like have it convinced that I'm like out to get the – no, you have to win games. Like really at the end of the day, you just have to win some games. When you get to the playoff, win some playoff games. When you get an opportunity like Cincinnati playing Nebraska to start the season, win the game. Iowa State beating Iowa. When Arizona State goes to Mississippi State in week 3, win the game. That's how you change perception. It's not the media. Quit using the media as a crutch and just, it's not the media. It's not our fault. You have to win the games. And Arizona State damn near did in the playoff last year. And one could say a bad targeting call, and you do. Right? So, like, to me, what Yormark is saying, and I'm glad he articulated it, I don't know if I agree with him, but he believes that 5 to 10 years down the road, the Big 12 will be in that conversation.
So I think the majority of people, myself included, think it's going to go the opposite way. There's going to be more of a gulf between the Big 12 and, say, the Big 10 and the SEC. And I also worry about the ACC. Like, the ACC is thought of more highly than the Big 12.
Because they have the top-end teams, but the Big 12 is a better league top to bottom. But the ACC has those top-tier
The ACC
brands.
is going to have more years where they're going to earn multiple bids than the Big 12.
Yeah, because this is a beauty pageant, really, is what it is, right?
And you're fighting perception. Like,
correct.
It's not just win some games. It's like you're going to have to do even more of your share to fight that perception that's already there. You're going to have to win even more games than you think, and for multiple years. And this is a big year because this is the year where you can double dip, and teams like Texas and BYU, they can spend just as much money as the top teams in the country for this year. And maybe this year they can make some sort of a statement.
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't,
well, I think they have a shot with Tech. But again, like you could feel it with them. They know it. They know how many eyeballs are on them and the pressure that they have. I feel like they've got a shot, and I still think Arizona State is a pretty good program, man. Like I spent a little time around their quarterback. Dillingham is. I can't decide. Do you think Dillingham is just completely full of shit, or is he like a future like superstar? Because I watch him, and I'm blown away with how charismatic he is. He reminds me of, like, remember when Fleck was like the...
Yeah, Fleck was the first one that came to mind, but there's one big difference. Fleck's never won anything.
Yeah, and Dillingham goes into the new league and wins it, picks 16th. He's a really impressive guy. So I think they have some chances this year. And, we'll see what Iowa State or Kansas State can bring to the table.
Danny Cannell said he was in studio a couple days ago, and we were just chatting off air about the playoff system and all that, and the Big 12 media days. And he's an ACC guy. He thinks it would be a huge mistake for the Big 12 to keep pushing this 5+11. Huge mistake for the future of the conference.
It could be a deal in 10 years where we look back and say, we look back at Yormark signing that TV deal with ESPN and Fox early, and it basically screwed the Pac-12, and the Pac-12 blew up, and that was like his genius move. This could be the opposite. But I just don't know if he has the power either way to really shift policy.
That's the big question.
It's like, is he making a political play by...
Well, let's be honest here. If the SEC and the Big Ten both wanted the 4-4-2-2,
they get it.
It would happen.
Yeah.
But the SEC is wanting that 5+11 because they're seeing more bids coming their way if they do it like that.
All right, two guys. We are here on Iowa Everywhere, of course, and we are presented by our friends at Freedom Tire. And we are giving away a set of tires to one of our great viewers, listeners. You go to iowaeverywhere.com, and you can set it. This is a hell of a gift, by the way. It's a hell of a gift.
Tires are expensive.
Yeah.
You pay for a set of tires like $1,000. I don't know. Maybe
Depends
more.
on truck like mine, a lot more than that, buddy.
Yeah, a couple grand. I'm going to put a link in the comments if you want to enter.
Go for it. And then this type of people, they are at Freedom Tire. They're going to give it back, and you can then choose a nonprofit to give a set of tires to. So go to Freedom Tire. I go to the one in Altoona, but check it out at iowaeverywhere.com contests, and you can sign up for this.
Sweet hat, Van Woke.
Oh, thanks.
And
What's
by the
Drake?
way,
Yeah.
happy birthday, you son of a bitch.
Oh,
Thank you.
it is your birthday today.
It's my birthday.
I knew that. I just forgot to tell you.
He's got this brand new Drake hat.
Yay,
Where's that from?
Hey, Matt.
I went to Drake yesterday. I spoke at their journalism camp. Admire
Really?
invited me down to talk about podcasts. So I propped up Iowa Everywhere, talked about our story
Sweet.
a little bit, and got the future podcasters of America excited about it. So
Did they give you that hat, or did you buy it?
No, I had to
wear?
buy this from the bookstore. But yeah, it's one
That's
of
a
these
sweet hat.
branded Bills hats. They're really nice. Some kid was wearing it in the crowd. And I was like, I have to go get that hat right after this.
That's a dope hat.
Thanks.
Drake has really cool
Treated
merch.
myself.
They
They
do.
do. This is the best.
It's a
too.
huge upgrade under Brian Harden.
Oh, yeah.
with their gear. My
Yeah.
God.
Hey, our friends at the Iowa Event Center gave me a special birthday gift, by the way, today. You guys see
what's
this?
that? No.
Now what did you get?
Paul McCartney's coming to Casey Center
Jeez.
October
What about
14th.
That new rock concert.
Sorry,
that
Sir Paul McCartney.
What about that new rock concert?
Yeah,
that
Williams
we-
doesn't give a shit about a former Beatle.
Oh, Breaking Benjamin? 3 Days Grace?
Yeah.
Man,
That was the music that was always playing in when I did 1 year at Mount Mercy in Cedar Rapids, and they had this just absolutely shitty weight room. Well, so did St. Ambrose back then, but they always had this radio playing. I don't know what station it was, but it was always the Breaking Benjamin type music. Really hyped me up to work out. That was back before that I even had headphones or anything to work out with. Now you have to have AirPods or headphones when you're working out. Back then it was whatever they're playing in there.
Speaking of St. Ambrose, this is funny. You just triggered a thought. I was up, 2 a.m. a couple nights ago because I was down in Dallas and I didn't have children and a dog, so I was really working hard on my book. get this thing wrapped up. And I was going through an old Dana Holgerson interview I did like 2 years ago. And he had a quote because he went and played for Leach and Mummy at Iowa Wesleyan. And he just shit all over St. Ambrose.
What? What did he say about him?
Because he was at St. Ambrose playing football.
Did he have to live with the priest too?
I don't know if he lived with the priest or not, but he was like, yeah, it looked like they were having a lot more fun, so I got the hell out of Davenport. And I just thought of you.
Wait, so you're telling me Dana Holgerson attended St. Ambrose?
He did, yes. I was going to tell you that. I completely forgot about it. Yeah, for like one or 2 years, Dana Holgerson was on the St. Ambrose. Did they have a football team?
Yeah, I called the games.
Yeah, they had a St. Ambrose. Like Dana Holgerson played for St. Ambrose, and then he transferred to Iowa Wesleyan.
Oh, you're muted, Matt.
1989 is on his Wikipedia page.
There you go.
Played at St. Ambrose. Then Iowa Wesleyan.
And then he transferred. See?
Wow, I didn't know Holgerson is from Davenport.
Yep.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
And went to Valdosta to coach.
Yeah, that's Keith's alma mater. Did he coach Keith? No, Keith's too old.
No, he went with Mummy and Leach to Valdosta.
Yeah, because
so Leach was
Keith
the coordinator.
played there. Keith played at Valdosta State in the mid '80s.
Prior to Mummy got there in '93. Wild times. I just thought that was funny. You and Dana Holgerson are basically brothers. I mean,
Priest brothers.
All right, so Scott Docterman, he's got a new rivalry poll out. What's going on here? Everybody all fired up?
Oh yeah, he's he worked. He said he spent like 250 hours combined putting together this list of the top 100 rivalries in college football. And Matt has the top 25 pulled up. Obviously, Michigan, Ohio State's one. I think most people would agree with that. Auburn, Alabama 2, Oklahoma, Texas 3. All I really care about is where he was ranking the Iowa and Iowa State rivalries. And there's only one in the top 25, and it's not the Cyhawk. It's Iowa, Wisconsin at 22. What do you think about that?
Well, my question would be, does Wisconsin view Iowa like Iowa views Wisconsin? Like, is that a shared?
That's a good question, and I don't know enough Wisconsin fans to answer that.
I feel like,
but by the way, he ranks Wisconsin, Minnesota 10 in the country.
Okay, you don't have hear me out. You don't have the history. Living here in this state, walking around with Iowa fans every day. I feel like you guys hate Nebraska more than you do Wisconsin. That to me feels like a bigger, and I would guess that Nebraska views you as a rival more than Wisconsin does.
But there's
not
not
saying Wisconsin,
nearly the history there.
No, yeah, you don't have the tradition. I'm not fighting that. I'm not even saying that it should be ranked higher. I'm just saying, like, based off of feel. It's Iowa State 1. I would say it's Nebraska 2, and then Wisconsin. Just my feel. And I don't think Minnesota really, I don't think Iowa fans really think about them that much.
I agree. And I was actually pleasantly surprised to see that he did not put Iowa, Minnesota ahead of Iowa, Wisconsin. He put Iowa, Minnesota 34th. My lifetime, it's been one-sided. Shit, when I was growing up, there were many years where the Iowa-Minnesota game wasn't even on TV. Like, they'd play up there, and we'd have to listen to it on the radio. You could see every other game, and that one wasn't one of them in Eastern Iowa. And it was always a blowout, it seemed like. And I know it's a cool rivalry, and it dates back a long time, and when you look at the overall head-to-head, it's pretty close. But Iowa-Wisconsin is by far Iowa's biggest rivalry in the Big Ten, in my opinion. To me, it is not close between Iowa-Wisconsin and Iowa-Minnesota or Iowa-Nebraska. Now, Iowa-Nebraska, which is, he has 44th, by the way. So here are the we'll get to Iowa State in a second. But the Big Ten rivalries for Iowa State in the top 100. He's got Iowa-Wisconsin 22, Iowa, Minnesota 34, Iowa, Nebraska 44, and Iowa, Penn State 67. Iowa, Nebraska has a lot of potential, but it's so young. Well, Nebraska hasn't even been in the conference, 15 years?
They haven't really been nationally relevant since.
And yeah, Nebraska hasn't been nationally relevant that entire time.
Yeah.
Iowa has dominated recently. They have had some really good games. Like, it's always a good game. It's always a close game.
I feel the hate.
Well, so check out the latest Legends and Listeners, which dropped today. And Doc does a really good job of explaining what went into ranking these.
Okay.
And because the way I think of a rivalry, I think might be more along your lines, like the passion.
Yes.
The vitriol, the hate. I value that more, I think, than whether or not that it's been a back and forth rivalry throughout the years. That's why the Cyhawk is not in the top 25, because Iowa has dominated over. They had 15 straight wins under Hayden Fry, and they took a hiatus for 40 years or whatever. And by the way, the Cyhawk is 32nd, so it's the number 2 ranked rivalry for Iowa rivalries. Scott said he originally had the Cyhawk higher than Iowa, Wisconsin. But then he went back. He's got all these different criteria. And because Iowa, Wisconsin is, I think, closer over the years, and they're kind of mirror images of each other. And, both teams feel like if you're better than the other one, you've got a good chance to have a really successful season. Iowa State isn't that. Iowa State, to me, is just more passion. Like, we cannot lose to them.
See, and that's how I look at the Nebraska game compared to Wisconsin.
It's a good
because
point.
I like, you guys, you don't want to lose that game because you're going to hear about it from.
But when Iowa plays Wisconsin, it's always more important.
I get it. Yeah, it's like we're having two separate conversations.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot that goes into a rivalry. But
Yeah.
personally, like I said, I would have put Iowa State 1, Iowa Wisconsin 2, and then a pretty big drop off after that to the Iowa, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska. I think I would probably put Nebraska ahead of Minnesota.
I definitely would put it ahead of Minnesota.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
You're
hard
right.
for me to take Minnesota that seriously.
I've never
'cause it's
thought,
such
like,
a pro sports town.
I've gotten shit from some former players, from some older fans, because I think this was a big deal.
Yeah.
40 years ago.
But 40 years, I don't know.
Iowa, Minnesota just doesn't do it for me.
But those teams weren't as good as Iowa has been, though, right?
I mean, the early Hayden, the Hayden Fry in the 80s. But I don't
Yeah,
remember, like
okay,
a
you're
Minnesota
right.
Iowa game in the 80s
I'm
doesn't
thinking
even
of, like,
stand out to me.
I'm thinking of like Tim Dwight, Tavian Banks. It's like, yeah,
those Minnesota teams sucked.
Yeah,
Like I said,
you're
those
just
games
beating
weren't
them.
even on TV. It's just it's an awesome trophy, incredible
Great
trophy, great history, but that doesn't scream rivalry to me. Maybe to Minnesota it does. Minnesota hates Iowa. They have the chant. They chant that they hate Iowa every single game they play. But I just don't feel like the majority of Iowa fans give a shit about Minnesota. Especially compared to Iowa State, even though they won't admit it. A lot of fans won't admit that. If you're talking about a game with the most passion and hate and the we cannot fucking lose to this team mentality, the Iowa State game is number 1.
You are delusional, I think, if you don't believe that. I really do. I think you're living in
a
like
lot
a
of
different...
Iowa fans don't believe it.
Yeah, but I think
fans
that
like my
that's
dad.
I believe that is ego-driven. I don't think they actually feel that.
Something else I noticed
I
about
think they're
this
saying...
list.
One second, man. I think they're
Go ahead.
saying that because they're trying to belittle the other side. I don't think that they actually believe that. Okay, Maddie, sorry.
No Big 12 rivalries, at least current Big 12 rivalries. I guess Oklahoma State is on there, Kansas, Missouri. So some former Big 12 rivals, but no current Big 12 rivalry games in this top 25, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you lose Texas and Oklahoma. It's tough.
Yeah, the big dogs.
There's only one Iowa State rivalry in the top 100 outside of the Cyhawk game, and it's Farmageddon, Iowa State, Kansas State. He has 63rd.
I still think those schools are just completely missing the boat. They hate the Farmageddon thing. Iowa State and Kansas State both. They don't want to promote it.
They don't want to embrace it?
Not the name.
Why?
I don't know, but they're
because
very...
Iowa State embraces the ag part of it. Isn't that the ag part of it? Farmageddon?
Yes, and so is, Kansas State and Iowa State are a little bit like Wisconsin and Iowa as far as mirror images of one another.
Uh-huh.
And I think that they should lean all in on it, but they don't, and they never have.
Civ Base on YouTube says, how can the Holy War be missing from the top 25?
Ooh, good question.
Scott said that's the one that he's gotten the most hate about.
That's a really good point.
A lot.
What did Scott say about why he didn't have it there?
Well, he goes back to like all the criteria that he laid out. And a lot of it was, how many times have you played each other? This is what went against the Cyhawk as well. How many times have you both been ranked when you've played each other? Iowa and Iowa State, it's like 1 or 2 times. The Holy War is just 1 or 2 times, I believe. So that's what knocked that down. I think they're 26th or 27th, the Holy War was. But yeah, to me, those the in-state rivalries, especially for whatever reason, not being in the same conference also adds something for me.
Like South Carolina, Clemson, Florida, Florida State.
For Iowa and Iowa State specifically, you're not in the same conference. So Iowa looks down on them even more because Iowa fans think the Big 12 sucks.
It's kind of like a different season, too. It's like you have the season leading up to Cyhawk, and once that game's over, it's like, okay, now we'll get on to the other, right? And they play early instead of late, so it's everybody's still...
As Steve brings up, it's these states without an NFL team, too.
Good point. I mean, the Gamecock-Clemson rivalry has a very similar feel, and it's probably greatly enhanced, honestly.
Right. And that one, I think, gets hurt a little bit because Clemson's just been so damn good the last 10, 15 years. But I thought I'm not arguing with Scott. I mean, he did so much research on this. I'm just saying how I feel about it, and it's
I think we all have different criteria.
Yeah, sure. I would give other things like hatred. I'd put that more on the scale than say your overall head-to-head record being close.
The only thing I wouldn't factor in ranking as much because I just don't have any faith in these polls. It's like, what's the difference between being ranked 27th and 23rd? Like,
also, I think that's another thing that makes rivalries great is that the rankings often don't matter. Like it doesn't matter if Iowa plays Iowa State this year and neither one of these teams is ranked. That doesn't matter.
Look at Michigan, Ohio State last year.
Yeah.
Right.
It's great. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen it, but if you haven't, awesome. It's on The Athletic from Scott. Check out his X page. He's got all the links posted there, but they really went in depth on it today on Legends and Listeners, and not just about Iowa and Iowa State, but about some of the other big rivalries as well.
You prepared to go long?
I am.
Let's go long.
It's time to go long with Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
You need to think long term because I want to make you rich. Your one-stop shop, all things finances. Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax. They do it all. They simplify your finances, people. That's the cool thing about them. It's like you take your car in, get the oil changed. We're going to change the rotate the tires. We're going to do everything in one spot. Most of these financial shops don't do that, Hassel. Well, Charter does it all for you. What are you going long on today?
Go ahead, Matt. I know you wanted to say something.
I was like, could the NCAA go to Wealth Charter to figure out how to make money instead of adding more teams to the field?
Well, Jesus, I'm tired of the NCAA trying to make more money and these teams trying to make more money. I'm going to go long on my jumping off point is that as early as today, this could happen today, could happen tomorrow, will happen probably over the course of the next week. The NCAA is likely going to expand the NCAA tournament, men's and women's, to 72 or even 76 teams. It would be a huge stunner if they don't. Nobody wants this.
Time out. When will this start?
It could start as early as this season.
Okay. Jeez. Okay. I wasn't prepared for that.
And this on a much broader scale, it goes to the fact that these sports leagues really just don't give a shit about what fans want. Like, they're not fan driven. And you look around and see what's happened compared to when we were growing up and we loved a team in every sport. I mean, I was watching Cubs baseball, Bulls basketball, all of it. So you've got this. You've got the college football playoff. We finally got a playoff. We finally got a 4-team playoff. Did we really need to jump to 12 right away? Did we really need to go that way? And 1 year after going to 12, now we're going to blow that thing up and we're going to go to 14 or 16? Who asked for that?
Nobody.
We wanted a playoff, not a tournament, like not a huge invitational where you devalue the regular season and you're looking at getting these four automatic bids from one conference. Give me a break.
I just can't wait until these coaches start resting players.
Ugh.
There's going to be load management in college sports.
And
it's coming, baby.
Look at the NFL. The NFL is the be-all, end-all, the most popular thing in, I don't know the world because the world is soccer, but in the United States, it's like the NFL can do no wrong. But they keep adding all these overseas games.
Oh, God, those are the worst.
Taking these home games away from these people who pay a ridiculous amount of money for a seat license. And then you're going, how many different countries are they playing in this year? It's like, I want to say it's like 5 or 6 different countries they're playing in. Brazil, Mexico, Germany, London.
My sport, NASCAR is going to go to Brazil. What the hell is NASCAR going to be doing in Brazil? That's the talk.
The fans aren't asking for that. But what do they want? They don't want you. They've got you.
Yeah.
They want more. They want the
Big 12 Brazil.
If we can get these soccer fans in Brazil to like NASCAR, then we get into that market. It's just kind of the same thing that Yormark tried to do with Big 12 Mexico City. What the fuck was that?
Never happened.
Don't the Vikings play 2 international games?
Yes, the Vikings have back-to-back games in Europe this year.
And then you've got the NBA. They've added a play-in tournament where the 7 through 10 team, the 10th place team in the conference makes the postseason. And you got this in-season tournament with these absolutely ridiculous-looking courts. They just came out with, like, yesterday, the in-season tournament groupings. Like, what? Who wants this? This is not weird. How about Major League Baseball? Well, what was the great thing about Major League Baseball? It was the longest season by far of any sport, and man, it means everything. 162 games, that's where you earn it. It used to be one from each league. the top team in the NL plays the top team in the AL based off the regular season. Then it was, the top 2 teams. You had to win your division. There were years where like the Giants one year won like 104 games and didn't make it because somebody else won 105 in their division. Well, they add a wild card game in the 90s. And I didn't have much of a problem with that. You still had a kind of a compact postseason, just 4 teams from each league. Well, now you just continue to add wild card teams and devalue a regular season that's already spread out 162 games. Who's asking for this?
It's like there's so many gimmicks in sports now that never used to exist.
It's a great word, the gimmicks. It's a gimmick.
Yeah.
It's a gimmick for the leagues, the teams to make more money. In the NCAA, this expansion to 72 or 76 teams, somebody ran a poll. I don't know if it was On3 or who it was. It had tens of thousands of votes. Do you want the NCAA tournament to expand? It was like 95% said no. 95%. You can't get that. It was like, do you want to go to war tomorrow and have to go hand-to-hand combat in China? You wouldn't get 95%.
Be like 65.
Yeah. Like, give me a go. Let's go get those bastards.
And it's just going to depend on which echo chamber put the poll out, which way it will go.
Right. Well, this is college basketball fans that were voting on this poll. Fans don't want it, but the coaches want it because they want more security. The commissioners want it because they want to get more teams in their conference in there. And this is not going to, because the one argument you have is, there are a lot of like mid-major teams that are left out. No, this is not going to get your mid-major teams in there. This is all to get, instead of 10 teams from the Big Ten, you're going to get 13. Instead of, how many from the SEC last year? 14? Did all but like 2 teams make the tournament? They want the whole goddamn conference in there. And then what does the regular season mean? Continue to diminish it. And people like college football talking heads, they're like, well, you see, you asked for it. No, so you wanted to blow everything up. You wanted a playoff. This is what you had. No, we asked for a 4 or maybe 8 team playoff.
I think
we're not asking for this. We're not asking for 16 right away. And 4 automatic qualifiers. And, well, let's have number 3 play number 6. So number 6, it's at 7-5, can earn an automatic bid if they beat the number 3 team in the conference.
And the crazy thing is, too, we've only had 1 year at 8, and the entire narrative throughout that tournament was how lopsided the games were.
It was 12 to 12. It's
12,
a 12
yeah.
team.
So, I'm sorry. Yeah,
we didn't get an 8.
Yeah. I think 8 would have been perfect. But right, remember, like during that, it was like, oh, maybe we went too far. No, we need to go farther.
Oh, so that's what I wanted to go long on.
The funny part, it's the same people doing this who told us that a playoff would ruin the sport.
Right. It's almost like they were, well, see, nope, you wanted it. All right, you got it. 32-team playoff. SEC and Big Ten get 10 automatic bids every year. That's what you asked for when you said you wanted a playoff.
Good point. And I am hearing a lot of this from friends of mine. MR100 talks about...
That's Mr. 100 to you.
Mr. 100. He's talking about everyday families being priced out of going to these games. Maybe next generations just won't care as much. I mean, that's...
It's definitely happening in the NFL. Like, it's not, I'm not saying that the next generations aren't going to care, but that's definitely happened in the NFL where the hardworking blue-collar fans that were going to these Browns games and Bears games, that is not happening anymore. It's one of the reasons why they've really, like in college, you got these big stadiums, 100,000. Even when a big game, it can be affordable because there's so many people can go, but they keep building these stadiums smaller and upping the seat licenses and pricing Joe Schmo out of there.
What's going on? Let's do a little cheers to the freaking weekend, boys.
Cheers to the freaking weekend. Let's raise our glass of Steeple Ridge bourbon.
Cheers to Van Winks. Birthday boy.
Yeah, what are you going to do on your birthday weekend?
Oh, going out to dinner tonight.
Nice. Where are you going?
Wasabi in Ankeny.
Wasabi.
Splurge a little bit.
Dude, Wasabi's good. They do good work there. Is it
go
just
to
you
some-
and your wife, or are you taking your kids?
The kids are coming. You know, it's a birthday.
Oh.
My daughters were so excited this morning to wish me a happy birthday.
How old are you?
Sweet kids, Matt. You got
34
sweet kids.
today.
34. Okay.
Just a puppy.
It's a good age.
Boy, I
thinking
forget, too.
as I was falling asleep last night, I don't know what made me think. Oh, I saw a video of myself make the rounds on X last night because somebody tagged me. I guess it's like 11 years to the day since ESPN reported that Chris Bosh was going to sign with the Rockets if LeBron left to go to the Cavs, and that never happened. And so somebody tweeted it out, and I have no recollection of me doing this interview with Brian Windhorst on ESPN, but I was thinking, geez, I'm 29 in this video. 29. And it got me thinking, your 30s is a time when you start off and you're like younger than everybody else. You're the young kid. Oh God, I can't believe how young you are. You know, in your where you might be working or your friends saying you get to 40 and all of a sudden just in that decade, you go from being the young one to the old guy.
Dude, I felt that so much this week in Dallas with Jake Brand working next to me.
You know what I did last night to celebrate the birthday? Poured me a glass of Steeple Ridge.
Ooh, yeah.
Steeple Ridge old fashioned.
Oh yeah.
Just wait, Van Wilk. You get to 40, and you're going to be the old guy. Like now in the news,
Well,
I remember I was in the ESPN newsroom, age 29. I was the youngest person there on air. I was the same age for the most part as the PAs and the editors and the research people. And now, just a decade later, I'm at CBS, and if I recognize any sort of like pop culture thing, people are like, "Whoa, geez, well, Hassel gets it too. Wow, I didn't know you knew about such and such. Hey, wow, you're really staying up with the times, huh, old man?"
Imagine how I felt talking to these high school kids yesterday. I was twice their age.
Oh man,
17-year-olds, you know.
How old is Brent?
It's like 14.
25, I think. 25, 24.
So Brent, he fascinates me with his size and his age because I thought he was like my size, and to me, he feels close to my age. He must be a very old soul.
He is an old soul. I think that's a fair way to describe him. Yeah.
Which I like. I like old soul. I'm an old soul.
Man, another conversation maybe for next week is the deterioration of media at these media day things. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah? You really noticing it?
Well, I mean, there's no TV stations there anymore.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
local TV just does not. And in all the newspapers, like,
I don't ever remember going there though to those media days, even when I was in Des Moines.
When I first started, TV would cover these.
Really?
Yeah. But that was in like 2004, 2005.
Where was media day for Big 12 back then?
Sometimes you would be in Kansas City. Sometimes it would be in Dallas. We did Houston every once in a while back in the day too. But like, man, I mean, there was a lot of media, but it's all these like just bloggy websites and like, or national, right?
Well, they cover these teams so much better than a TV station can. Anymore.
Yeah, they don't have the resources to do it in time.
I mean, at Cyclone Fanatic, that is your 24/7, 365 job, just to cover Iowa State athletics and mostly football and men's basketball. And so you get these opportunities, and you've got to go and make a big deal out of it because your fans are starving for it. It's you're a TV station, and you're kind of covering everything.
Yeah, you got
in the area. You're covering
you got the
high
Drake
school
relay.
teams, and he's got and you have far less money to play around with than you ever had before. I mean, look at Brend. Brend wins Iowa Sportscaster of the Year at a TV station in Des Moines, and his next move is to completely get out of TV and go to Cyclone Fanatic. That's all you need to know right there. And it's a better job.
Yeah, it was very telling, and it happens more and more every year. What the hell was that?
Is Matt celebrating his own birthday again?
Did you fart?
I had this celebration on loop, and I turned the volume up for our music, and I was still playing the kazoos.
Real quick, cheers. I'm going to be at Bryce Miller's Celebration of Life coming up on Saturday. Keith's put a lot of work into that. I'm kind of been odd because we all loved him so much, and he passed away, and there wasn't like a funeral or any, and we're all getting together on Saturday for that. So
Isn't everyone welcome to Principal Park for that?
Yes.
Do you have the details on?
I think it starts at 1 o'clock. I believe. I'm sure
1 o'clock on Saturday.
Yep, 1 o'clock on Saturday. There it is. So yeah, oddly, like looking forward to it. It's not a thing that you. It's not like a party, but it's like
right. Well, you wish Bryce was going to be there with you guys.
Yeah. It's but it will be nice to get with everybody and talk about memories and all that good stuff. So I'll do my cheers to that for sure.
1 to 4 at Principal Park is what I'm seeing.
Everyone welcome.
This
Great.
Saturday.
Well, everybody have an awesome weekend. We appreciate you being here. Murph and Andy, of course, coming up on Friday.
Hey, shout out to
1 o'clock.
Andy Fales, who's doing his shows live from Europe. He did Monday's show from Sweden. He did Wednesday's show from Denmark. And I love how he's incorporating his trip and what he's seeing into the show. It's
it's been really good.
It's unique. It's something that you can't do unless you're doing something like we are and you're willing to do a show at 9 p.m. where you're at. I promise you, I will not be doing that from Lake Como in Italy. Andy's setting this bar way too high.
Enjoy your time. I probably won't do it when I'm traveling around Ireland either, so you're fine.
But it's really great stuff. Check out Murph and Andy if you haven't this week. Andy's travels, and he sees things in a different light. He puts it. I don't know. It's really cool.
Appreciate y'all. We will be back on Monday morning here on Iowa Everywhere.